The morning sun crept over Umoku village, casting golden light on the red soil roads and mud houses with rusted zinc roofs. The cock crowed thrice, as if to remind the entire village that another day had begun. Smoke rose from clay kitchens where women pounded yam or stirred early morning pap. In one corner of the village, in a small compound where raffia palms swayed gently in the breeze, lived Chika. She was slender, with dark eyes that carried both innocence and determination. She sat on a low wooden stool as her mother tied akara balls into brown paper for customers. Her father, a carpenter, sharpened his saw, sweat already glistening on his forehead. That morning was different. A small Ghana Moscow bag stood by the doorway, filled with the few clothes Chika owned. Today, she was leaving for university in Enugu. Her mother's eyes glistened as she said, "Chika, remember where you come from. This city life, it get as it be. No follow bad friends. And most importantly, beware of boys. Na so sugar-coated tongue then get." Her father added in his deep, tired voice, "Your books are your weapon. Read and one day you will lift this family from poverty. Don't allow any man to distract you." Chika knelt down, tears in her eyes. "Papa, Mama, I won't disappoint you, I swear." The bus horn blared outside. Villagers gathered, waving and praying as she entered. Her mother pressed a small nylon into her palm. 1,500 naira, their last savings, and whispered, "Manage am. It no plenty, but God will provide." As the bus drove off, Chika watched the familiar huts shrink into distance. Her heart pounded with fear and hope. She was stepping into a new world. Enugu campus was nothing like her village. The gate was massive, painted in bright colors, with students trooping in and out. Loudspeakers blasted music from nearby hostels. Girls with sleeveless down their backs laughed loudly, their perfumes mixing with the smell of suya from roadside sellers. Boys leaned on flashy cars, calling out to passing ladies. Chika clutched her bag tightly. Feeling out of place, she found her hostel, a noisy building where buckets lined the corridors and girls quarreled over water. That evening, she sat alone on her bunk, staring at the wall. "I will survive this," she whispered to herself. The next day, she hurried to class, holding her new jotter and pen. At the faculty gate, she bumped into a young man carrying a pile of books. They both almost fell, books scattered everywhere. "Ah, sorry," Chika bent quickly to pick them. The young man smiled warmly. He was tall, dark, with an easy charm. "No problem, my sister. Now me suppose they apologize. At the rush, they gathered the books together. He introduced himself. "My name is Obinna. You be fresher, Abi?" Chika nodded shyly. "Yes, my name is Chika." From that day, Obinna became her guide. He showed her lecture halls, taught her how to register for courses online, even helped her buy textbooks at cheaper prices. Unlike other boys, he wasn't flashy or arrogant. He lived simply, sharing a small off-campus room with a cousin. He tutored students and did minimal jobs just to survive. Soon, they began spending more time together, walking to lectures, eating bread and akara under the mango tree, studying in the library until late. One evening, Obinna surprised her with roasted corn and pear, saying, "Babe, he know plenty, but at least he better pass empty stomach." Chika laughed, touched. Slowly, friendship turned into love. Obinna didn't hide her. He called Chika's parents one Sunday evening from his small Nokia phone. He spoke respectfully, assuring them he would take care of her like a sister. Chika's mother prayed for him on the phone, calling him Unyoma, a good man. Though they had little, Obinna and Chika were happy. They dreamt of the future, a time when poverty would no longer hold them back. Chika thought to herself often, "This is the kind of man Mama prayed for me to meet. Humble, caring, God-fearing. With him, I can face this new world." But in the shadows of campus, a storm was brewing. Weeks turned into months, and Chika slowly adjusted to campus life. At first, she struggled. The water scarcity, the noise, the lecturers shouting in thick accent, the endless queues for course registration, all of it felt overwhelming. But Obinna was always there. When her bucket was stolen from the hostel corridor, he laughed softly and said, "Don't worry, my Chika. Tomorrow we go buy another one from Obete Market. Nobody fit steal your destiny." When she cried after failing her first test, he held her hand and whispered, "Even the best students, they fail sometimes. But it no be your final result. Na just the beginning." Slowly, she began to feel safe with him. Obinna was not rich. He didn't have a car or a fancy sneakers or a fat bank account, but he gave her the little he had. On days he tutored students, he would use part of the money to buy her akara and bread. Sometimes, he would fry 2 eggs with pepper and say, "Babe, na this kind food they make brain sharp for exam." During library study nights, when she was dozing, he would nudge her with a smile. "Chika, remember wetin you promise your mama? No let sleep carry your future." Chika too gave back in her own way. She washed his clothes sometimes, teased him when his shirt tore at the armpit, and even gave him 500 naira from her mother's allowance once, saying, "Obinna, this small money fit help you buy pen. No argue, abeg." He smiled and held her hand. "Chika, with you, I feel like king even without crown." There were nights they sat under the mango tree outside the hostel, watching other students laughing and playing loud music. Chika would rest her head on his shoulder and whisper, "Sometimes I feel like we are the only 2 people on this campus." Obinna would reply, "Not true, but one day the whole world go hear our story." One particular Sunday stood out. They couldn't afford fried rice or jollof rice from the canteen, so Obinna cooked indomie with crayfish and 1 egg in his small off-campus room. He spread his only wrapper on the floor, and they both ate from the same plate, laughing as they fought over who would take the last strand of noodle. See love who, Chika teased. Obinna grinned. If na this one I get, na this one I go give you. Tomorrow go better. That night, she looked at him differently. She realized she didn't just like him. She was falling in love. It happened on a rainy evening. They had been in the library until late, and Obinna insisted on walking her back to the hostel, despite the drizzle. On the way, they sheltered under a mango tree as the rain poured heavily. Chika, you dey cold? He asked, brushing raindrops from her face. She nodded, shivering slightly. His hand lingered on her cheek. Their eyes met, hesitant, searching. Then slowly, Obinna leaned forward and kissed her softly. Chika froze for a moment, then smiled. So you've been planning this, abi? Obinna laughed nervously. Naren pushed me. From that day, their bond deepened. Obinna did not hide this relationship. His friends knew. His cousin knew. Even Chika's parents knew. Once in a while, he would give Chika his small Nokia phone and say, call your mama, make she know say you dey fine. One Sunday, Chika's mother spoke to him directly over the phone. Obinna, God bless you for standing by my daughter. May your life never spoil. Treat her like your sister, like your wife. Obinna swallowed hard. Mama, I promise I go protect him with my life. Chika listened with tears in her eyes. She thought to herself, this is the man I will marry one day. It was a hot Thursday afternoon. The sun was blazing mercilessly, and most students were scattered under trees or moving quickly across campus with books clutched to their chests. Chika had just finished Bio 101 practical and was walking towards the hostel. Her hair was tied back in a simple ponytail, her lab coat hanging loosely on her arm, and she held a nylon bag of moi moi and pure water she bought from the campus Mami market. She looked tired but beautiful in that natural, unpolished way. As she crossed the open field beside the Faculty of Social Science, a black Lexus Jeep suddenly pulled up. The sound of music blasted from inside, Burna Boy's voice shaking the speakers. The car door opened and out stepped Shegun. Shegun was tall, broad-shouldered, with a tribal mark that gave his face rugged and authority. He wore a black polo, ripped jeans, and expensive sneakers. Around his neck was a gold chain. On his wrist, a Rolex flashed in the sun. Everyone knew him. Students whispered his name like a warning. Some feared him. Some respected him. But nobody ignored him. Shegun, the campus general, leader of the feared Kekites and official lord of the school. As soon as he stepped out, two boys rushed forward to greet him with exaggerated respect. General, good afternoon, sir. He nodded casually, not even looking at them. His eyes were already on Chika. Shegun whistled sharply. Hey, fine girl, slow down now. Chika froze. At first, she thought he was calling someone else. But when she looked around, it was clear. All eyes were on her. She clutched her nylon bag tighter and muttered, "Good afternoon," intending to keep walking. But Shegun blocked her path. He smiled, showing gold teeth. "Wetin dey rush you? I just wan know where you dey go." "I'm going to the hostel," she said quietly. "Hostel, ke? Which hostel?" Elvin Hostel." Shegun chuckled, nodding slowly as if memorizing the detail. Then leaning closer, he asked casually, "So tell me, who be your boyfriend? Because girl like you no suppose dey waka alone." Chika hesitated. Her heart pounded. She wanted to lie, to just wave him off, but something in his presence, the dangerous confidence, the way other students were already watching, made her blunt it out. I already have a boyfriend." Shegun laughed loudly, clapping his hands as if she had just cracked a joke. His boys joined in, sniggering behind him. "You get boyfriend?" he repeated. "Na small boy abi. See, you no understand who dey talk to you. I be Shegun, the general of this campus. Any man wey dey with you suppose step aside once I show interest. If you wise, you go leave am before I even tell you." Chika's face hardened. She took a step back. "No, sir. I love my boyfriend. Please excuse me." Shegun's smile faded slightly. He tilted his head, studying her like a predator eyeing prey. "You dey form stubborn, abi? No worry. I like am when girl dey play hard. But hear me well. If I say I want you, I must get you, whether na today or tomorrow." He snapped his fingers and his boys busted out laughing again. Before Chika could reply, Shegun leaned close enough for her to smell his expensive collagen. "Tell your so-called boyfriend, make he enjoy you well now, because soon you go dey with me. And when that time come, you no go even remember his name." Her hands were shaking, but she forced herself to stand tall. "You are wasting your time. I can't leave Obina." With that, she brushed past him and walked quickly towards her hostel. Her heart was racing. Her palms were sweaty. Students were still staring, whispering, "See as she waka comot. Na wow! This girl dey find wahala. Who rejects General Shegun like that?" By the time Chika reached her hostel gate, her eyes were wet. She didn't want to cry, but fear and anger mixed inside her. She knew Obinna had to hear this, but she also knew what it meant. Their simple love story had just been dragged into the battlefield of campus power. That evening, Chika sat on her hostel bunk, hugging her pillow. Her roommates were chatting loudly about the latest campus gossip, but she wasn't listening. Shegun's words still echoed in her mind. "If I say I want you, I must get you." Her phone buzzed, a WhatsApp message from Obinna. "Baby, you don't eat." She stared at the screen, her throat tight. She wanted to just reply with, "Yes, and hide everything. But she knew if she kept quiet, the weight would crush her. Finally, she typed, "Come to Alvin Hostel. I need to see you." By 7:30 p.m., Obinna arrived. He was wearing his usual look, a simple white t-shirt, jeans, and bathroom slippers. His backpack was hanging from one shoulder, as if he had come straight from reading in the library. When Chika saw him, her chest loosened. She ran into his arms, holding him tight. "Obim," she whispered, "something happened today." Obinna pulled back, frowning. "What is it? Why you dey shake like this? Who disturbed you?" They found a quiet corner near the hostel lounge, away from the noise of girls frying indomie on stoves. Chika took a deep breath. "Obinna," she began, voice trembling. "Today, when I was coming back from lab, Shegun stopped me." Obinna's eyes widened immediately. "Which Shegun? Which other one? The campus general?" Obinna froze. His grip on her hand tightened. He asked me where I was going, then said he wanted me to be his girlfriend. I told him I already have you. He laughed in my face. He said I must leave you, that I don't know who he is. Obinna, he even threatened. He said this campus is not big enough for both of you. Her voice broke. She covered her face. "Baby, I'm scared." Silence hung between them for a moment. Obinna's chest rose and fell heavily. Finally, he muttered, almost to himself, "So you don't notice him?" Then louder, he said with forced calm, "Chika, look at me." She lifted her teary eyes. "I no go lie, Shegun na trouble. Everybody dey fear am for this campus. Oh, you are my girl, and I swear, no man, even Shegun, fit collect you from me." Chika shook her head, panicked. "You don't understand, Obim. He has boys everywhere. People respect him more than the lecturers. If he decides to come after you," Obinna cut her off, his pride sparking. "Make he come. Na only God dey protect person. I no go run because of one ordinary human being wey dey flex muscle. You are mine, and nobody could threaten me to leave you." Chika touched his cheek, her voice softer now. "Obinna, promise me you won't go and look for trouble. Promise me you won't fight him. Just let's stay careful." Obinna took her hand, kissed it gently, and held it to his chest. His heart was pounding fast against her palm. "I promise to protect you, Chika, even if na my life I go use. But one thing I can never do is give you up. Not to Shegun, not to anyone." Chika's tears slipped freely now, but this time they were mixed with love. She leaned into his chest, whispering, "Obim, you will get yourself killed." And Obinna whispered back, with that mix of fear and reckless pride that only young love can carry, "If loving you na death sentence, then let them carry me go." As they embraced, neither of them noticed a shadowed figure leaning on a palm tree, smoking. One of Shegun's boys. He had seen everything. By the next morning, Shegun would know exactly how Chika had confessed to Obinna and how Obinna had sworn never to let her go. The battle line had been drawn. The next morning at Freedom Square, that open sport campus, big boys dey sit, smoke, gist, and scoop babes. Shegun leaned back on a white plastic chair. He wore his usual Armani shirt, gold chain, one leg of his joggers tucked into his socks. One of his boys, Mopelola, aka Mopo, leaned close. Chairman, e be like say the girl tell her guy everything yesterday. I even see them hold body near hostel. The guy no one back down. Shegun chuckled, the kind of laugh that made even his boys shift uneasily. So the rat thinks if he drag meat with lion. Okay now, we go teach am wetin be levels. He puffed on his cigar, snapped his fingers, and the boys understood. Obinna walked into the Faculty of Arts lecture hall, clutching his notebook. He was already distracted, thinking of Shegun's threat, but he tried to act normal. Halfway into the lecture, 3 of Shegun's boys strolled in noisily. Everybody looked back. They didn't care about the class. They went straight to Obinna's room. One of them mistakenly kicked his bag. Guy, shift that nonsense, Joe. Obinna bent quickly to pick it, swallowing his pride. The lecturer looked up, but quickly pretended not to see. Nobody wanted to cross Shegun's crew. Another boy hissed, loud enough for the class to hear. So now this one they claim love with Shegun babe. Ordinary jam beats. Laughter rippled. Obinna's ears burned, but he said nothing. Later that afternoon, Obinna and Chika tried to eat together at the school cafeteria. They bought rice and beans, sat down at the far corner, trying to enjoy their little piece. Then, bam! Shegun's boy slammed the trays down on the same table. One of them eyed Obinna's food, dipped his spoon into it, and tasted it. Ah, this beans sweet oh. At least your guy sabi choose food, even if he no sabi choose woman. Chika's hand trembled on her fork. Obinna clenched his fist under the table, veins popping. But he remembered Chika's plea. Don't fight them. He forced himself to stand, pulled Chika up gently, and said quietly, "Baby, let's go." But as they turned, one boy deliberately shoved him hard on the shoulder. The tree nearly fell. Obinna caught his balance, cleared back, but swallowed it. Chika squeezed his arm, whispering, "Please don't." The boys laughed loudly, filling the whole cafeteria with mockery. Back in her hostel, Chika broke down. "Obim, I can't take it anymore. They will hurt you, and because of me. Maybe we should just stay apart for now." Obinna grabbed her hand sharply. Don't ever say that again, Chika. I love you. This wahala no go break us. They won't make I run, but I no go gree. I will endure whatever comes, but I no go give you up. Ever. Tears ran down Chika's cheek. Her heart was torn between pride in Obinna's courage and fear that his stubborn love would destroy him. That night, as Obinna walked back to his hostel alone, he felt eyes on him. Suddenly, two of Shegun's boys stepped out from the shadows. No words, they just blocked his path. One of them lit a match, used it to light his cigarette, and whispered, "Guy, advise yourself. Carry your load comot from that girl before them carry your body comot from this campus." Then they walked off, leaving Obinna standing there, fist shaking, heart pounding. It was late afternoon. Chika sat in the school library, textbooks spread out. She was trying to focus, but her mind kept drifting to Obinna. The insults, the humiliation, the threats. She sighed, resting her chin on her palm, when suddenly she caught a familiar scent. Strong collagen, mixed with cigar smoke. Slowly she turned. Shegun, he stood right behind her, grinning lazily, gold chain glittering under the fluorescent light. "Fine girl, so now here you dey hide." Chika's heart skipped. She quickly packed her books. "I have to go." But Shegun pulled the chair opposite her and sat, legs spread wide, confidence dripping. "No rush. Sit down, make we talk." "See, Chika," Shegun began, lowering his voice like a lover. "I no get wahala with you. I just like you. I dey tell you plain. Any other girl for this campus, they beg make I notice her. But now you I notice. That one no mean something." Chika shook her head, firm but trembling. "I told you before, I have a boyfriend. Please respect that." Shegun chuckled, leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Boyfriend? You mean that jampit? Babe, abeg. You dey joke with your life. Do you even know who I be? Na me dey run things for this campus. One word from me and nobody go see that boy again." Her eyes widened, but Shegun smiled sweetly. "I no wan hurt am yet, but you guys choose. Be with me, you dey protected, you dey enjoy. Stay with am, and, well, I no fit promise wetin go happen." Chika's hands shook, but she forced herself to look Shegun in the eyes. "Shegun, you can threaten me, you can threaten Obinna, but you can't force love. I don't like you, but I will never leave Obinna for you." For a second, silence. Shegun's smile froze. Then bang! He slammed his palm on the table. Students turned their heads, startled. Shegun leaned in, his voice now low and dangerous. "You dey play with fire, babe. And fire no dey know fine face. Think well." He stood, adjusted his gold chain, and walked out, swagger heavy. The library fell into whispers. Chika sat frozen, tears brimming, heart pounding like a drum. That night, she told Obinna everything. His face went pale, then hardened with anger. He threatened you. He threatened me. Chika grabbed his hand, scared. Obim, please don't do anything rash. Promise me. I can't lose you. Obinna stared at the wall, fist clenched. I've been swallowing insults since. But if he touches you again, I no go hold back. The room fell silent. Chika rested her head on his shoulder, knowing Shewun's shadow now loomed larger than ever. It was past 8 p.m. Obinna had just finished night tutorials with his classmates. Chika had begged him to let her wait, but he insisted she go back to the hostel early. The campus road was quiet, only dim street lights, the hum of distant generators, and the echo of his own footsteps. He slung his bag across his shoulder, humming small, trying to mask the nervousness in his chest. Then, the sound of footsteps behind him. Slow, heavy, too many. Obinna stopped, turned. 3 boys emerged from the shadows. Tall, broad, with hoodies and face caps. Their stance screamed trouble. Guy, one of them sneered. You be Obinna, abi? Obinna swallowed hard. Yes, any problem? Before he could finish, another boy shoved him against the wall. His books scattered on the ground. Smally, you dey carry Shegun's babe, you dey craze? Obinna's chest burned with fear and anger. Chika no be anybody property. She's my girlfriend. The boys burst out laughing. Then one threw the first punch. Wham! His lip split instantly. They descended on him like wolves. Punches, kicks. His glasses fell off. His shirt tore. Obinna tried to block, tried to fight back, but he was no match. You go hear am if you no leave that girl. One growled, kicking his stomach. Obinna coughed, blood staining his teeth. Still, he spat on the ground and croaked, I no go leave Chika, even if una kill me here. That made them pause, shock, then rage. Another kick landed harder, but suddenly a shout pierced the night. Wetin dey happen there? A group of students returning from the reading hall approached with lanterns and torches. The boys hissed and scattered into the darkness like shadows. The students rushed to Obinna, lifting him from the ground, his face swollen, shirt soaked in blood. Jesus, Obinna, who do you like this? Obinna staggered, clutching his ribs. He whispered one name before collapsing on the floor. Shegun. Later that night, in the campus clinic, Chika burst into tears when she saw him on the bed. Face bruised, bandaged lips, swollen eye. She held his hand tightly. Obim, I warned you. I told you this would happen. Obinna forced a smile through the pain. Chika, listen to me. No matter wetin him do, I go never give you up. If not to die for you, I go die. Her tears fell harder. She kissed his hand, shaking. No, Obim, I won't let him destroy you. We'll find a way. We must. Shadowy figure stood outside, watching. Shegun's boy. He lit a cigarette, smirked, and walked away. Days passed. Obinna lay in the small clinic bed, ribs still aching, his eye swollen but slowly healing. His friends came to visit with bread and malt, shaking their heads in pity. Obi, this matter pass play o. Shegun no dey joke. But Obinna, weak but deviate, would always answer, I no dey fight Shegun because of pride. I dey fight am because of love. If he get muscle, boys, money, but me, I get Chika. Chika, who had been sleeping on a chair by his bedside, would squeeze his hand tighter each time. Chika couldn't sleep. She walked the hostel corridor late at night, mind racing. Everywhere she went, whispers followed. That's the girl Shegun dey chase o. She dey do stubborn love with one JJC. She go put that boy for early grave. It hurt, but it made her even more determined. She sat with her best friend Ngozi in the hostel common room. Ngozi, I can't just watch Shegun destroy Obinna. If I fight Shegun openly, he go crush Obi. I need to be smart. Ngozi sighed. But babe, who won't face Shegun? Even lecturers dey fear am. Chika bit her lip, her eyes sharp with thought. Then maybe it's time we stop fighting him with muzzle. We go use brain. Everybody gets weakness. Even Shegun. The next morning, Chika carried food to the clinic for Obinna. She sat by his bed and whispered, Obim, I want you to rest, but leave Shegun to me. I go find his weak point. He fit dey roar like lion, but even lion gets where person fit wound am. Obinna frowned. Chika, no. If you get close to him. She pressed a finger to his lips. Shh. Trust me. I no go ever betray us. Just trust me. Chika began observing quietly. She noticed Shegun never walked alone, always with boys. But one day, while waiting near the faculty block, she saw him arguing bitterly on the phone. His voice was loud, full of anger. Babe, abeg no disturb me. I tell you say I go send him money. Why you dey nag me like this? He cut the call and smashed his phone against his palm. His face was tense. Chika's eyes narrowed. So Shegun dey get wahala too. Na hope it is, babe. Back in the clinic, Obinna woke in the night to find Chika watching him, her eyes red from lack of sleep. He whispered weakly, Chika, you deserve better than this suffering. She shook her head violently. Don't you ever say that again. I chose you, Obim. Even if Shegun break you, I go be the one to hold you till you heal. Even if Shegun kill you, I go die with you. Obinna's heart swelled with pain and joy. Tears slid from the corner of his eye. I love you, Chika. I swear, if not to crawl through fire for you, I go do am. Chika in her room at night, staring at her small diary, writing, Love alone can't win against Shegun. I must find his weakness. I must break his pride. I must outsmart the lion before the lion eats my heart. And at the window, outside, reveals Shegun's boy, watching from outside. Cigarette glowing in the dark. He smokes. It was late evening. The hostel generator hummed, throwing yellow light on the cracked walls. Chika carried a small bucket of water back from the tap, humming to herself, when suddenly a hand blocked her path. Shegun, leaning on the wall in his crested jacket, two of his boys standing at a distance, smoking and watching. He smiled, the type of smile that never reached the eyes. "Fine, Chika. I have been waiting for you." Chika's heart skipped, but she steadied herself. "Shegun, abeg, leave road. I no get your time." Shegun chuckled, stepping closer. "Na so you dey do. Me, Shegun, dey talk to you and you dey waka pass like say I be ordinary boy." He snatched the bucket from her hand, placing it on the floor, and leaned so close she could smell his color jean. "Chika, I fit give you life wey Obinna no fit ever dream. Money, car, protection. You will be queen of this campus. All you need to do is leave that small boy. Does he even know who I am?" Chika's fist tightened, but she forced a smile. "Shegun, you dey always shout about who you be. But if truly you get power, why you dey pepper you that I no gree?" For the first time, he smiled, flattered, his eyes narrowed. Shegun grabbed her chin, forcing her to look at him. "Chika, nobody says no to me twice. Dat boy fit think say na love, but me, I dey play survival. If you stick with him, it go cost him more than bruises next time." Chika's heart raced, but she didn't flinch. She spoke slowly. "You fit break his bones, but you no fit break his spirit. And you no fit break mine either." Shegun froze for a second. The confidence in her tone unsettled him just a little. He released her and stepped back. He smirked again, masking the crack in his pride. "Okay now, you dey stubborn. I like that. But stubborn goats no dey live long for market. Tell your Obinna, make him prepare. This campus no will contain the two of us." He whistled. His boys laughed, and they all walked away, leaving Chika trembled, but standing tall. Later that night, Chika slipped into the clinic to check on Obinna. He smiled weakly when he saw her, but her eyes were red. She held his hand tight and whispered, "Obim, Shegun don't corner me again. He won't break you through me. But I swear, I no go let him. If it's fight he wants, I go give him fight. Not with fist, but with brain." Obinna's voice still housed, whispered back, "Just promise me one thing. No matter what happen, don't let him touch your soul. That one na my own." They held each other, both knowing war had just begun. In Shegun's lodge, he is seen drinking, surrounded by his boys, but his mood is sour. One boy asked, "Oga, why you no just collect the girl by force?" "Who go talk?" Shegun slammed his cup on the table. "You think say I be rapist? I want that girl to submit. I want her to fear me until she come to me by herself, I no go rest. If she no gree, I go make life miserable for she and Obinna. The room went quiet. His eyes burned with wounded pride. A week later, Chika dey buy suya by the school gate when she noticed something strange. Across the road, Shegun no dey with him boys this time. Instead, he dey argue quietly with one slim fair girl in cheap gown. The girl dey shout at him, waving her phone. Chika paused. Suya forgotten. The girl hissed, tears for her eyes, and shouted loud enough for people nearby to hear. Shegun, you no fit even pay your own rent this semester, yet you dey form campus general. No dey borrow my money again o. The girl stormed off. Shegun looked around quick, embarrassed, before jumping on Okada. Chika's eyes narrowed. So the almighty Shegun get financial problem. Later, Chika gisted her friend Amaka for hostel. Amaka laughed and leaned close. You never hear. Shegun dey flex, but him papa stopped sending money since last year. All this his big boy lifestyle, they run on credit and intimidation. Even the lodge where him dey stay, na him sugar auntie dey pay. Chika's brain clicked. So the lion dey roar, but his stomach empty. That night, in Obinna's room, she sat beside his bed, playing with his fingers. Obim, I see something today. That Shegun no strong as he dey pretend. The boy dey suffer. Him power na only packaging and fear. If we fit find his weak point, we go turn the hunter into prey. Obinna frowned, still weak but thoughtful. Chika, abeg, no play too close with this campfire. Even weak lion get teeth. She smiled, but even lion dey fear hunger. If hunger no kill am, shame go kill am. And I sabi say shame dey pain Shegun pass bullet. Shegun sat on his bed, shirt off, counting wrinkled naira notes. His boys were out partying, but his room looked bare. No fridge, no new clothes, just empty bottles. He muttered to himself, frustrated. Him go think say I dey control campus, but I dey beg landlord like small pikin. I must find money before people begin notice. He threw the naira notes on the bed, buried his face in his hands. For a split second, Shegun looked less like a general, more like a tired broke boy hiding behind a mask. It was late evening. Most students don't dey leave campus. Chika purposely wait near the faculty block, under one dim streetlight. She sent Shegun short text. Meet me behind social science if you really get liver. Shegun arrived with his usual swagger, gold chain shining, but no boys this time, only him. He leaned against the wall, smirking. Baby girl, I sabi say you could come back. Forget that small boy Obinna. Chika cut him short, voice steady. Shegun, abeg hold your mouth. If you no leave me alone, I go tell this whole campus the truth. Say you dey form general, but na broke boy wey your papa don abandon because you be disgrace. The smile froze on Shegun's face. For the first time, his eyes blinked like he didn't hear well. Wetin you just talk? Chika stepped closer, chest almost touching his. You dey borrow money from small girls to flex. You dey owe landlord. Na fear dey make people dey respect you, no be love. If you push me again, Shegun, I go scatter that your packaging for front of everybody. Shegun's hands clenched, his jaw tight. For a second, he looked like he would slap her. But instead, he looked away, teeth grinding, his voice dropped low. Who tell you that rubbish? Chika stared. No be rubbish. I see 'em, I hear 'em. And Shegun, truth they always show for eye. You fit fear others, but you no fit fear me. Silence hugged between them. The general looked suddenly smaller. The mask fell off. His voice cracked a little. He no understand. You no know wetin I dey carry. My papa dey shame because of me, because I no fit live up to his name. I dey fight every day make people respect me. Na fear dey keep me relevant. If not, I go vanish. For the first time, Shegun sounded like a boy, not a monster. Chika softened, her voice calm but firm. Shegun, respect no dey come from fear. Na lie you dey live. One day, the same boys wey dey hail you go use you wipe ground. Power wey no get love behind am no dey last. If you really wan change your story, drop this fake life. Find better way before you destroy yourself. Shegun swallowed hard, staring at the ground, his fists unclenched. It dey sound like my elder sister before she die. She dey always yarn me say I dey waste my life. Maybe you dey right, but I too late. Chika touched his arm slightly. No be too late. You get brain, you get charisma. Use am for better. But understand this, whether you change or not, leave me and Obinna alone. Because if you push me again, I go finish you with just truth. Shegun nodded slowly, shame burning through his eyes. As Chika walked away, Shegun stood there, silent. The streetlight cast his shadow long and broken against the wall. He whispered to himself, Chika, you different. Nobody ever talked to me like that before. But the look in his eyes showed a battle between pride and the small seed of truth she planted. The sun hung lazily over the campus, casting long golden shadows on the walkways. Chika and Obinna were walking together, laughing softly about how one of their lecturers had mispronounced a student's name, when suddenly, Obinna, a female voice rang out. Before Chika could even blink, a slim, light-skinned girl in a pink top and skinny jeans came running towards them. She flung her arms around Obinna in a tight hug. Chika froze, her brows furrowing. Obinna staggered slightly, shocked. Ah, Sandra! The girl pulled back, beaming. Yes, Sandra, don't tell me you have forgotten me already. You helped me the other day I was lost, remember? You showed me my department and even gave me directions to the hostel. My hero. Chika's eyes narrowed. Hero. Hugging like that. Obinna chuckled awkwardly, scratching the back of his neck. Oh yes, I remember. You are the transfer student from Unilag, right? Sandra nodded, smiling. Exactly. I've been looking out for you since that day. You don't even know how much you helped me. God bless you. She glanced briefly at Chika, offering a polite smile, but her hand was still slightly resting on Obinna's arm. Chika cleared her throat. And you are? Oh, I'm Sandra, the girl said brightly. A new student, Obinna's friend. Chika gave a stiff nod. Nice. Her eyes lingered on Sandra's hand before she gently but firmly slipped her own hand through Obinna's arm. We are late for something, so. Sandra laughed lightly, as if she didn't notice the tension. No wahala. Obinna, I'll see you around. Thanks again. She waved and bounced off, her perfume still lingering in the air. The moment she left, Chika turned to Obinna with a questioning gaze. So, who exactly is she to you? Obinna sighed. Relax, Chika. She's just someone I helped the first day she came. Nothing more. Chika stared at him for a moment, then nodded slowly. She wanted to trust him. After all, Obinna had never given her reason to doubt before. Still, something about the girl's smile unsettled her. Days turned into weeks. Sandra started appearing again. Sometimes, she would show up while Obinna and Chika were together, handing him neatly wrapped food packs, saying things like, Obinna, I made this and I thought of you. Please have it. Other times, she would casually give him gifts, a brand new wristwatch, a pair of sneakers, even textbooks he couldn't afford. Each time, Chika frowned. Obinna, are you sure this is okay? Collecting things from her all the time. Obinna would sigh, holding her hands. Chika, look at us. You know we don't have much. She's just being nice. And it's not like I asked her for anything. I beg, let's not overthink it. The semester had just resumed fully. The sun was brutal, burning down on the campus walkways, making students drag their feet with half-open lecture notes and sachet water pressed to their foreheads. But for Obinna, the heat was nothing compared to the weight on his chest. He had been grinding tutorials for 200-level students, hustling photocopies for classmates, even helping a lecturer type notes just to make small cash. Still, money was always tight. He and Chika had perfected the art of sharing one plate of jollof rice at Mama Ifoma's canteen, laughing at their own suffering like it was a romantic joke. That afternoon, he got a WhatsApp message. Sandra, hey tutor, can you come by my place later? I need help with Bio 201. The molecular genetics part is confusing me. Obinna looked at his phone, then at Chika, who was sitting opposite him in the reading hall. She had fallen asleep on her notes, her pen still in her hand. He smiled at her, his heart full of guilt, and he whispered to himself, it's just work, just tutoring. Sandra's off-campus apartment was nothing like the cramped hostel Obinna shared with his 4 other friends. Her flat was tied, with scented candles glowing in the corners, and an air conditioner humming gently. She had a glass of dining table, stacked with foreign snacks, Oreos, Pringles, bottle of Coke. Obinna, Sandra sang as she opened the door, her perfume hitting him like a soft punch. My lifesaver, abeg come in. He dropped his bag shyly. Sandra, you too dey enjoy you. AC, snacks, big fridge. Your papa try well well. She smiled, guiding him to the sofa. Sit down, tutor. Today, I no call you for small talk. I have a business proposal. Obinna raised a brow. Business. She leaned closer, her eyes glittering. Yes, I want you to be my private tutor. Not once in a while, every day. I will pay you 500,000 naira every month. Obinna almost dropped his biro. Wait, how much? 500,000 naira. She said it slowly, like she wanted to tattoo the number into his brain. Obinna, you're brilliant. I need a smart person like you to help me pass. Money is not my problem. If I pay you 500,000 naira every month, it's nothing. Obinna sat frozen. His mind was racing. 500k a month. That was more than his father earned in 3 months as a civil servant. With that kind of money, he could buy a small car, move out of the hostel, even support Chika's business dreams. But another thought burned. How will Chika take this? He imagined telling her, "Baby, Sandra offered to pay me 500k. Her face would tighten. That suspicious look she hated wearing. She'd probably say no, or worse, ask him to reject it. Sandra tilted her head, watching him. Why are you quiet? Don't tell me 500,000 naira is not enough for you. I can add more if you want. Obinna blinked. No, it's not that. The money is okay. It's just that Sandra cut him off. She reached into a drawer and pulled out an envelope, thick and sealed. She placed it on his hand. This is your first week advance. I don't like stress. Just be coming every day. Explain things to me, and we'll both enjoy. That night, back in the hostel, Chika came over with 2 sachets of pure water and Gary. They sat crossed-legged, poured sugar into the Gary like it was Christmas. She smiled at him. Obim, you dey quiet since. You no dey yourself. Wetin happen? He forced a smile. Nothing, baby, just tired. Too much book. Chika touched his cheek gently. Don't overwork yourself, please. Even if we no get money, at least we get love. That one pass everything. Her words stabbed him deeper than a knife. He hugged her tightly, hiding the envelope under his mattress. The days rolled by like restless clouds. Obinna's life had suddenly changed. Every afternoon, once lectures ended, he would disappear. To Chika, he claimed he was rushing to the library or doing tutorials for some year 1 students. But in truth, he was always at Sandra's flat, AC chilling his skin, snacks filling his belly, and Sandra sitting close, too close, as he explained DNA transcription and cell division. One evening, while Obinna bent over her notes, Sandra slid a chilled can of Coke towards him. Obi, she said softly, you don't have to rush every time. Rest small. You think I will eat you? He chuckled nervously. Sandra, I beg, let's just face the book. But she leaned closer, her perfume crawling into his nose. Obi, you are different from all these other boys. They only want to chop money. You earn it. That's why I respect you. The compliment sank in his chest like a dangerous sweetness. Respect. 500k, AC, snacks. But what Obinna didn't know was that this double life could not hide forever. On a hot Tuesday, Chika's classmate, Ngozi, was walking past Sandra's street. She had come to collect a hairpiece from a tailor nearby, where she noticed a familiar face at the balcony of one flat. Her eyes squinted. Wait, is that not Obinna? She hid behind a tree, watching. Indeed, it was Obinna, laughing, relaxed, holding a textbook, while Sandra stood beside him, her hand lightly brushing his shoulder. They looked too comfortable, too close. Ngozi hissed. So this is where the library tutorials happen. She didn't wait to see more. She snapped a quick photo with her phone and left. That night, in the hostel, Chika was plaiting her roommate's hair when Ngozi stormed in. Chika, she called, dropping her bag with force. Abeg, come outside, I need to talk to you. Chika, surprised, followed. Ngo, wetin happen? You dey vex? Ngozi sighed heavily. My sister, I no want wahala, but I cannot keep quiet. Today, I saw your Obinna. He was in Sandra's apartment. Chika froze. Sandra. Which Sandra? The same big girl Sandra in our faculty. The girl where they always do party with DJ and Suya. That one. Chika, I even snapped picture. She showed her phone. The picture wasn't very clear, but you could see Obinna's outline on the balcony and Sandra standing close. Chika's chest tightened. Her first instinct was to defend him. No, maybe he went there for tutorial. Obi is not like that. Ngozi folded her arms. My dear, now you sabi, but I know what my eyes see. Just be careful. Back in her room, Chika couldn't eat, couldn't laugh. Her mind raced. Obinna had promised her, even if we no get money, at least we get love. Why then was he sneaking around Sandra's place? She didn't call him that night. She wanted to test him, to see if he would call her first. He eventually did around 11 p.m. Baby, his voice came through. Cheerful. How are you? Sorry, I've been busy. Book is just too much. Chika swallowed her tears, forcing her voice steady. It's okay, Bobby, I understand. But inside her heart, a storm was gathering. The next morning, Chika's heart beat like a drum. She couldn't bear to live in silent doubt anymore. She had to know the truth from Obinna's own mouth. After lectures, she waited outside the faculty building. When she saw him coming, his bag slumped on one shoulder, whistling as if life was perfect. Her chest tightened. Obinna, she called. He turned, smiling. Baby, I was just coming to look for you. But her face was stiff. No smile, no warmth. Just questions in her eyes. Obi, where were you yesterday afternoon? He blinked. Yesterday? Oh, I told you now. I went to give tutorials. Her voice hardened. Tutorial where? In Sandra's flat? The smile on his face froze. For a moment, he was silent. Then he laughed awkwardly. Who tell you that one? I'm asking you, she pressed, her voice shaking. Were you in Sandra's apartment or not? Obinna sighed, scratching his head. Okay, yes, I went there. But Chika, it's not what you think. She offered me a deal I cannot reject. 500k every month just to teach her. Tell me, which hustler in this school will see that kind of money and walk away? Chika's eyes glistened with tears. Obinna, is that why you are hiding it from me? If he was truly innocent, why not tell me from the beginning? He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Baby, I didn't want you to worry. You know how things are for us. We don't have much. This money will help me, help us. It's just tutorials, I swear. For a long moment, Chika just stared at him. The boy she had trusted with her whole heart was standing in front of her with excuses. Maybe he was telling the truth, maybe not. But one thing was clear. Sandra had become a shadow between them. Finally, she whispered, Obinna, I trusted you with everything. Don't make me regret it. And without waiting for his reply, she turned and walked away, leaving him standing, guilt heavy on his shoulder. The first time it happened, it was subtle. Obinna had been in Sandra's apartment for their usual tutorials. Her perfume hung heavy in the air, her laughter a little too soft, her touches lingering when she leaned to look at his notes. At one point, she slid closer, her hand brushing his arm. Obinna, she whispered, eyes locked on his. You are not just brilliant, you are special. Before he could react, she leaned in, lips inches away. His heart hammered in his chest, temptation burning hurt. But somehow, with the strength of a small boy clutching his values, he pulled back. I can't, he muttered, standing quickly. Sandra, this is wrong. Her smile didn't fade. In fact, it deepened like a hunter watching prey escape. For now. Good then, she said softly. But you will come back. You need me more than you know. Obinna left, shaking, guilt pressing on him. He wanted to tell Chika, but how could he? The money, the comfort, it was still something he needed. So he kept quiet, burying the secret in his chest. Days later, Obinna found himself back at Sandra's flat. This time, he told himself it was only about the money, only business, only tutoring. But Sandra was patient. She waited until his guard was low, until his hunger for more than money peeked through his eyes. Then, like a serpent, she struck again. Soft words, gentle touches, a kiss he didn't resist. That night, Obinna crossed a line he could never uncross. And Sandra knew she had won. Not long after, Sandra made her move in public. One afternoon, at the cafeteria, she walked straight up to Chika, smiling wickedly. You still declaim Obinna, Abi? She sneered. Open your eyes. He is mine now. The laughter in her voice cut deeper than a knife. Chika's word shook. She ran to confront Obinna, her chest tight with anger and heartbreak. Obinna, tell me she's lying. Please, just tell me she's lying. But he couldn't. His eyes dropped, shame written all over his face. Silence was his answer. Chika staggered back, tears streaming. The boy she had defended, trusted, loved with all her heart, had betrayed her. The shame was too much. Obinna couldn't face her, couldn't face the campus. He vanished for weeks. His seats in lecture halls empty. his name whispered in corners. When he finally returned, it wasn't the same boy who once struggled with Chika hand in hand. He drove in with a flashy car, new boys around him, and Sandra by his side like a trophy. And when Chika saw him from across the canteen, laughing with his new friends, glass raised in pride. When Chika saw him across the canteen, her heart shattered all over again. The canteen was buzzing that hot afternoon. Plates clattering, voices raising in laughter and gist. Chika walked in with two of her girlfriends, holding her notes against her chest. She was trying to stay strong, but deep inside her heart was still bleeding from Sandra's mockery. Then she saw him, Obinna, but not the Obinna she knew. He sat at the center of a table like a king, surrounded by new flashy friends. A sleek car key glittering on the table. Sandra was tucked under his arm, laughing loudly at something he whispered in her ear. For a moment, Chika froze. Her feet felt heavy, her throat dry. That was her Obinna, the boy who once held her hands, who once whispered dreams about their future. Her friends tugged her sleeve. Chika, no look, abeg, let's go. But she couldn't. She marched forward. The chanter in the canteen deepened as eyes turned, sensing drama. Obinna, she said, her voice trembling. So this is you now. After everything, after all we went through. Obinna shifted uncomfortably, but Sandra smirked, leaning closer as she claimed her prize. Answer me, Chika's voice cracked. How could you? Obinna glanced at Sandra, then back at Chika. And instead of explaining, instead of apologizing, he laughed. Dry, empty. Chika, meet my girlfriend Sandra. His arm tightened around Sandra's shoulder. Sandra, this is Chika, just an old friend. The table roared with laughter. Sandra tilted her head and added, not just a friend, a replacement. The room shook with murmurs. Some gasped, some whispered, some pitied Chika. Chika's words shattered in that instant. Her chest burned, her eyes blurred with tears. But she refused to cry in front of them. She held her head high, dropped her books on the table with a slam, and said through clenched teeth, Obinna, you will regret this, not because of me, but because one day you will wake up and realize what you lost. She turned and walked out, her friends rushing after her. Behind her, laughter echoed, but Obinna couldn't meet her eyes. No, really. His chest ached. Though his pride forced him to sit still. For the first time, he felt the weight of shame, hidden behind the fake glamour. The lecture hall was half empty that afternoon. The lecturer had just left, and most students were shuffling out, chatting in groups. Chika stayed behind, bent over her books, trying to bury her pain in formulas and definitions. Her heart was heavy, The image of Obinna and Sandra together wouldn't leave her mind. Each laugh, each mocking glance replayed like a cruel movie. She didn't hear him walk in. "Chika." The voice made her snap up. Her first instinct was annoyance. "Segun," she hissed, slamming her pen down. "What are you doing here? I beg, I'm not in the mood for your wahala today." But when she looked properly, he wasn't flanked by his usual gang. No loud jewelry, no swaggering smile, just him, alone. Segun raised his hand slightly, like someone surrendering. "I didn't come for wahala. I just want to talk." Chika frowned, arms folded. "Talk? Since when do you talk without trouble?" He sighed, dragging a chair closer, but he didn't sit immediately. "I've been thinking about what you told me that day, when you warned me that all this life I did live is empty. I didn't want to hear it, but he stuck." His voice cracked, softer than she had ever heard. For the first time, Chika noticed he looked tired. The sparkle of arrogance in his eyes had dimmed. "My father," Segun continued, swallowing hard, "has everything money can buy. Cars, houses, power. But he looks at me and I see it. Disappointment. He doesn't even hide it. Sometimes I wonder if he regrets I'm his son." Chika's eyes softened despite herself. Segun rubbed his face with both hands. "I've messed up, Chika. I thought being feared made me strong. I thought having girls, boys, money, that was life. But it's empty. And you are the only person who ever told me the truth to my face. Not even my so-called boys." Silence filled the hall. Then he whispered, almost ashamed, "I'm not here to chase you anymore. I don't deserve you. I just want to be better. Teach me how." Chika's lips parted. This was not the Segun she knew. The bravado. No threats. Just raw honesty. For a long moment, she stared at him. Then she exhaled. Slowly. "Segun, change is not something someone else does for you. It starts with you. If you truly want to be better, then prove it. Not to me, not to your father, but to yourself. And when you fall, you stand again. That's how respect is built." His eyes shone with something new. Gratitude. "Thank you," he said, voice low, "for giving me hope." For the first time, Chika smiled at him. A small one. "I forgive you, Segun." He nodded, finally sitting down, but lighter, as if the burden had dropped from his shoulders. And just like that, a new bond was formed. Not of romance, but of something deeper. Friendship, trust, and redemption. The campus was bustling as usual. Boys playing football on the dusty pitch, girls chatting under the mango tree, traders shouting prices at the roadside. But Segun wasn't in the mood for noise. He had one mission that afternoon. He spotted Obinna walking across the courtyard with his bag slung over his shoulder. A few boys hailed him, and he responded casually, as brilliant and confident as ever. Shegun's chest tightened. This was not going to be easy. Obinna, he called out. Obinna slowed, turned, and his eyes immediately narrowed. What do you want? His tone was sharp. Shegun walked closer, careful to keep his hands visible. No threats this time. Look, I came to apologize. Obinna scoffed. Apologize? From you? After all the rubbish you put me through? Yes, Shegun said firmly. I was stupid. I bullied you because I was empty inside. And you were everything I wasn't. Intelligent, focused, respected. I hated you for it. But I see it now, and I'm sorry. Obinna, from my heart. Some students nearby slowed to watch. It wasn't every day you saw Shegun, the campus terror, lowering himself like this. Obinna's jaw clenched. He took a step closer, his voice low but cutting. You think sorry we erased the nights I couldn't walk free because I feared your voice? You think it will erase the way you mocked me in front of everyone? Shegu bowed his head. No, but it is that. I just want peace between us. Please. For a moment, Obinna stared at him. Then he shook his head with a bitter laugh. Peace between us? Never. Carry your fake repentance and go. I don't need it. He brushed past him roughly, leaving Shegun standing there, fist clenched, but not in anger, in frustration. From the balcony above, Chika had been watching. Her heart ached for Shegun. For once, he was genuinely trying. But Obinna's pride had slammed the door in his face. Shegun muttered to himself, voice heavy. Maybe one day he will see I mean it. The sun was fierce that afternoon, burning the concrete courtyard in the middle of campus. Students gathered in groups, laughter and chanter filling the air. Some rehearsed dance steps for the upcoming cultural night. Others argued over football matches. Then the crowd shifted. Whispers spread like wildfire. Na Shegun be that? Yes na him dey with Chika. Hey, since when them two begin waka together? As Shegun and Chika approached, Obinna called out loudly, making sure everyone heard. Ah, see who we have here. The once mighty Shegun, now carrying books like an errand boy. The crowd gasped. Some laughed nervously. Chika stiffened, anger flashing in her eyes. But Shegun touched her hand gently. A silent calm down. Obinna stepped forward, his voice following. So this is the new you, Shegun. From terror of campus to handbag carrier. Omo, life don't really humble you. Shegun inhaled deeply, then faced him squarely. His voice was calm, steady. Yes, life humbled me, and I am grateful for it. The courtyard went silent. Nobody expected that. Obinna sneered, trying to push further. Grateful or weak? Because me, I see a man that lost his crown. Tell me, Shegun, you know this shame? Shegun looked at him straight in the eyes, not flinching. Obinna, The only shame I carried was the shame of life I used to live. Intimidating people, living empty. You think all this, he gestured at the car. The fake entourage makes you a man? I thought so too. But it still doesn't. Respect does. Peace does. Responsibility does. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Some nodded, some whistled. Obinna's smile flattened. His pride couldn't take it. You did talk too much. Boys, he snapped his fingers. Two of his guys moved forward, ready to ruffle Segun up. But before they could even grab him, a group of Segun's old boys, who had been silently standing in the crowd, stepped out. They surrounded him, facing Obinna's men head on. Fists flew. Chaos broke out. Students scattered, shouting, phones out, recording. Obinna's boys, despite the bravado, were no match for the raw aggression of Segun's old crew. Within minutes, they were flat on the ground, groaning. Segun hadn't thrown a single punch. He just stood, steady, eyes locked on Obinna. When the dust settled, Segun finally spoke, voice firm. Obinna, you chose your path, I chose mine. But don't mistake peace for weakness. I will never go back to that life, but I'll also never bow to you. The courtyard thundered with cheers. For the first time, Segun wasn't feared. He was respected. Obinna stood frozen, Sandra's hand tugging at his arm. His pride shattered. And Chika, she looked at Segun with new eyes. Admiration, glowing. The campus was still buzzing from the courtyard drama. Videos of Obinna's humiliation had already spread on WhatsApp groups. Some students laughed. Some said Obinna had changed too much, and others whispered that Segun was no longer the monster they knew. For Chika, it felt strange. Segun, the same boy who was made her life miserable, was now sitting quietly across from her in the library, asking questions about course outlines. Wait, so you mean you've never read this textbook before? She whispered, half amused, half shocked. Segun scratched his head, looking embarrassed. Chika, truth be told, I used to pay people to write my assignments. I never bothered. But now, I want to do it right. Just teach me small, I beg. Chika raised a brow, still not fully trusting him, but something in his tone felt genuine. For the first time, she saw a boy, not the arrogant big man, just a boy trying to change. She slid the textbook closer. Fine, but Segun, if I catch you joking or messing around, that's the end. Segun smiled faintly. Deal. That evening turned into the first of the many study sessions. At first, Segun struggled, mixing up terms, losing focus, but slowly, Chika realized he was trying, really trying. Sometimes he'd stay up late, texting her questions like, Chika, this definition, it gets as it be, break it down for me. One night after class, as they walked out of the library, Segun spoke quietly. You know, I begged Obinna to forgive me, but he keeps pushing me away. Chika sighed. Segun, Obinna is different now. You both are. Maybe one day he will listen. But for now, focus on yourself. Segun nodded, his jaw tight. I just don't want him to see me as his enemy again. We all did hustled life differently. But I wish he no let Sandra spoil am. Chika froze, her stomach twisting at Sandra's name. She tried to smile it off, but deep down, the wound was still fresh. And Segun noticed. You still care about him, he said softly. Chika looked away, blinking fast. Care? I don't know. Maybe. But sometimes, caring doesn't change the fact that a person already chose their path. For the first time in a long while, Segun didn't crack a joke, didn't throw a sarcastic comment. He just nodded, walking quietly beside her. And that silence, something new was born. Respect. Friendship. The clash between Segun's boys and Obinna's crew had left the whole campus shaking. Whispers followed them everywhere. But Obinna no sent anybody. With Sandra by his side, he felt untouchable, like nothing could bring him down. But Sandra wasn't done. He wanted more. Babe, one more hit. This one could set us for life. Forget school. We go live like kings, she said, her eyes glittering with hunger. Against his better judgment, Obinna agreed. That night, the crew moved again. A supposed easy operation. But unknown to them, the police had already gotten wind. Shots fired, panic everywhere. Sandra was grabbed right on the spot. One of the boys fell. Another ran into the night. Obinna managed to slip through the chaos, disappearing into the darkness. His heart beat louder than the sirens chasing him. By morning, the news casted. University students linked to failed robbery. Girlfriend of the prime suspect arrested. His name was on every lip. His face was on every phone. Sandra sat in handcuffs, spitting his name like poison. Obinna planned it. He is the mastermind. Find him. But Obinna was nowhere to be found. No one knew if he had fled to another city, hiding in the slums, or if the street had already swallowed him whole. Chika read the headlines in silence. Tears fell, but her heart was strangely calm. The boy she loved was gone, not by death, but by his own choices. She closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, not for their love, but for his lost soul. Segun, now humbled and truly changed, stood quietly by her side. For once, not as a rival or a suitor, but as a friend who had learned from his mistakes. And so, the story of Obinna, the brilliant boy who traded books for quick money and love for greed, ended in shadows, leaving campus buzzing with the same sentence. Na so street the end person we no know him limits. The end. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.